Hi there, I'm Pastor John from New Life Assembly, and we're doing our daily devotional series through the Song of Solomon right now. We're starting chapter 3 today, and we're going to talk about the nightmare of thinking that your loved one is gone. So let's take a look at Song of Solomon, chapter 3, verses 1 through 5. The woman is speaking. She says, "On my bed by night I sought him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but found him not. I will rise now and go about the city. In the streets and in the squares I will seek him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but found him not. The watchmen found me as they went about the city. Have you seen him whom my soul loves? Scarcely had I passed them when I found him whom my soul loves. I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house and into the chamber of her who conceived me. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or the does of the field, that you not stir up or awaken love until it pleases." As we look at this section, many will consider this a nightmare for this woman, Shulamith, as she seeks out her love. The idea of the setting is that she's in her bedchambers at night, waiting for the next day where she can meet Solomon, and as she's drifting in and out of sleep, she's having these nightmares of him not being there, not being near her. Some scholars suggest that it's in the mind of this woman and in the mind of anyone who's in love, that they want to be with the person they love all the time. You'll see a recurring theme in this section of the one whom my soul loves. She'll say it 4 times in these 5 verses. And so this is one of the main themes, that she is so in love that it's a nightmare when she's not with the one that her soul loves. And it can be taken in reverse for men as well, that whenever you are in love, you just want to be with that person all the time. And when you're not, it's like a nightmare. So she's drifting in and out of sleep, and she's having this recurring dream or this recurring nightmare of being away from him, of him not being there when she awakes, when she is with him. It's also possible that because she's having these dreamy episodes, these moments of being closer and closer and closer to Solomon, that when she awakes all of a sudden and he's not there, even though he's not supposed to yet be there because they're not married yet, it produces in her mind and in her heart this nightmarish sense of, where is the one whom my soul loves? And so she does what anyone would do, whether you're having a nightmare or you are sleepwalking or whatever the case may be. She goes out into the area around her, into the city, and she's looking for him. She repeats in every street, in every square, she's going around, she's looking for Solomon, and she can't find him. And so the nightmare continues, because not only has she not found him close by, when she goes searching for him, he's nowhere to be found. And so she searches frantically for the one whom her soul loves. She happens upon a couple of guards in the city. Now, most scholars suggest the city here is not just a little tiny town, but it may be Jerusalem itself, which would have a great population and would also need night watchers to keep an eye on things in the evenings and in the night until the next morning. So the suggestion is that this might be Jerusalem itself, where she's running about frantically searching for Solomon. That would make sense, because that's where Solomon lives, in Jerusalem, in the palace. And so she seeks him. She's looking for him all over. She can't find him. She's becoming worried. Where is the one whom her soul loves? And then the guards do nothing for her. They have no answer. They're silent on the matter. Most people would consider, okay, well, the guards are quiet on this, so maybe I should stop looking. Maybe I shouldn't worry about this. But she's determined. She keeps on looking for Solomon, and her determination pays off because he's right around the corner. And whenever she comes around the corner, that same determination turns into, I found you. She wraps her arms around him. She won't let go. Love is special because it creates in us a determination, a desire to go against what reality presents, to go against that idea of this is how it has to be. Love is this romantic, this poetic sort of song of life that brings us into the realm of hope and possibility. That's why love is so wonderful and so sometimes illogical, because it takes us out of the hard line of what things have to be, and it gives us options. It gives us a different kind of reality, and it gives us a different kind of hope. And so love is a very great thing in that it produces a determination. And true love for someone means that you're never going to give up on them, even when you can't find them. You're going to find them. You're going to keep searching. You're not going to let somebody go, well, we don't know where he is, and then just call it a night. She keeps searching. She'd search all night if it took all night. And that kind of determination in love is so important. You know, true love inside of the bounds of marriage also has its certain determination. It's so easy to counsel a couple that's determined to work on their marriage, determined to not let anything stop them from loving one another. Oftentimes, whenever people are in my office for counseling, it is not because they're determined to make it work. It's because there's a flicker of hope on either the part of the husband or the wife, and they're kind of doing last rites to their marriage already whenever they come and sit in front of me. And that's really sad, because true love has a determination, a never give up, stick to it attitude. And this is the kind of attitude that we see in Shulamith and in Solomon, that they are determined to be together. Even whenever they're separated, for whatever the reason may be, they're determined to be together. And it's not a beautiful dream when they're not together. It's a nightmare. And so we look at that, and then we see one of the two big themes of the Song of Solomon show up once again in verse 5, and that is that same recourse, that same almost chorus, if you will, of do not awaken love until it is time. See, there's two different ways to take this idea of her taking him into her mother's house. One of them is what it sounds like, that it's once again her desire for sexual passion to be ignited and to carry that out. And in that sense, it would agree with Song of Solomon 2:7, where we see this same reprise come up for the first time. It's right after one of those hot and steamy episodes. It gets a little sensual, and then it's almost like the woman warns herself and goes, this is what I want, but because I'm not married, I need to hold off on that. It's that idea of that drive, that passion, that it's almost impossible to stop once you start feeling it. And so in Song of Solomon 2:7, and then here in 3:5, we see this reprise of her warning all of the other women, the daughters of Jerusalem, I adjure you, be careful with love, because love, when it ignites, is so hard to stop and practically impossible. It becomes a task in itself. And so it's better not to even awaken it, that passion for someone, until it's time. You find the person and you get in the proper relationship, that's when it's time to allow love to have its full effect on you and your relationship. And so many times today we have people who are just hooking up. There isn't even a relationship. There isn't really even a passion or a love at all. It's just a purely physical thing. And the fact of the matter is, that's impossible. Sex is not just physical. By its very nature, it is the intermingling of souls. And so it's impossible to have that feeling of passion, that arousal, to stop. So it's better to wait until it's properly in its context. And so that's one of the ways to take this reprise as it happens for the second time in the book. Another way is to understand taking him into her mother's chamber as a longing to marry him. You see, the other place where the mother's house is mentioned throughout Scripture is, for instance, with Isaac and Rebekah. Isaac marries Rebekah and then takes her into his mother's tent, into Sarah's tent after she is dead, and she comforts him in the loss of his mother. There are a couple of other places where the context would suggest to us that this is a place that's special amongst the mother and the daughter. Just as the father and son have a relationship in Scripture, so also the mother and daughter have a relationship in Scripture. It's going to be used in the book a couple more times, but it could also be taken not just as she wants to bring him in, but just in the idea of wanting to marry him, wanting to be with him, and not in a sensual or sexual way. And so I would tell you that either of those would fit the context of this book, because the warning that is here is a warning whenever things start to get a little more sensual before it's time. And you'll see this warning appear one more time in the book. I hope some of this helped you in your relationships and in trying to figure out love. And we can use the examples of people who have already been through all of this. And this is why the Song of Solomon was written, to help us with every part of our life, the area of love and passion for that one person that you are meant to spend your life with. So, blessed day in the Lord, and I'll see you tomorrow.